Good afternoon. It's Saturday and welcome to Saba's Way of Life. So I'm going to run through what I'm doing in the kitchen right now. It's been a massively busy few days. September, October, always very, very busy for those who grow their own food and work in the garden, whether it's on a small scale, whether it's on a large scale, or whether it's on a minute scale. If you're doing it regularly and you make use of your space, there's a lot you can do. So here I am in my I have a 70-foot back garden. I use a little space in the shared driveway and I get a lot of harvest, but it's a lot of work, and it's something that now I can't do without, because when you understand that the nature of food and the whole idea of going to buy fruit and vegetable from a supermarket where it's sitting on a shelf doesn't make any sense anymore because it's dead, you will that is alien. That is becoming more and more alien in my mind when you start growing your food and you realize how important the nature of the food is. Not even if it's just alive in somebody else's farm, but even grown on your own land, because you're nurturing the soil. The concept of eating out, forget it. It doesn't mean you won't do it. It means you'd avoid it at all costs because it's not food. You're just entertaining yourself with food-like substances. The idea of buying from the supermarket is like, what? On the shelf, covered in plastic. It's not food. It's food-like substances. In fact, it's toxins, most of it. It is poison. Slow dose poison, you can't tell what it's doing to you slow dose, but over a period of time when you keep dosing on it, it kills you slowly, nice and slowly, very deceptive. So when that happens, you realise I have to grow my own food. When you realise how you feel when you eat your own produce. Now I'm going to turn this around because I don't have much storage left on this device and I have to sort that out this week. It's on my list to do for this week. So let me turn this. I have some of the things I've been doing. I've got all these tomatoes, baby tomatoes. These are now just going to be either cooked and turned into a tomato sauce that I can use with cooking, or frozen. But I've still got 2 or 3 bags of baby tomatoes from last year for cooking, which I haven't used, which is fine. I keep threatening to pickle these and I haven't done it yet because I've just been too busy, but I am going to. There's a lot here. Some I'm just going to put in a paper bag because we don't have much sun now. So in a paper bag in a dark place and let them ripen, or if we get a sun, put it in the sun. But some I'm going to pickle, which, as I said, I keep threatening and I haven't done yet. I want to show you, look at these pickles. You remember the achar, the Indian pickle I've made? You need to go through the videos to see the whole process on how I did this, because I shared it with you. And then you can go online and get more detail on how people actually prepare them. These were prepared in the sun. They were cooking in the sun. Time and patience and pure sunlight. So the nourishment in this will be second to none. This is the little experiment I did with lemons, if you remember, and I've popped them in their own juice, and they're great for when you're feeling a bit run down. Just look it up. They're good in cooking. They're especially good in kind of Moroccan cooking where they use these kind of lemons which have been cultured or fermented in their own juice for quite a while. Over here I've got the beetroot. I make my own pickled beetroot with simple white vinegar, and that's it. It's delicious. And when I finish the beetroot, I actually keep the liquid and pop some more in it. Now whether I should or shouldn't do that, I don't know, but I've done it, and so far they haven't gone off or anything. It's working, and I top it up with a bit more white vinegar. The end of this season, when I finish this, I might chuck the liquid away or even drink it. I wouldn't chuck it, probably drink it or cook it with something. Cook it in a curry maybe, and then start afresh next year with a new batch of white vinegar. This is red cabbage sauerkraut from like 4 years ago, which is still going and tastes absolutely amazing. Beautiful. Over here are the onions, and these are exhibition onions, I think. They're called exhibition. They're huge. Look at the size of them. A few of these were stolen, as I mentioned in a previous video, which is a shame. But yeah, these onions I haven't tasted yet, but when I do,
I'm pretty sure I'm going to grow them again next year. Here's some more onions. They're different versions of onions, but I will make a note in my book of what was a success and what wasn't, and then grow the relevant things next year that I liked. Queen Charlotte potatoes, earlies, a tip from the lady at the garden centre. Queen Charlotte, delicious. They come in kind of different sizes. They're not huge. Absolutely delicious. Right. And then here, I'm just going to pick it up and show you. This is the fenugreek. It was a big container full, but when it's dried in the sun, which these have, look, this is what happens to it. And now I'm just going to jar it. Yeah, I'm just going to jar it and use it in curries, which we use fenugreek and all sorts of things. But it's home dried, fresh fenugreek, which is also a green manure, as I've mentioned in previous videos. And you can grow on any bare patch of land. Easy peasy. Just quickly take you into the garden. Not that I've done very much. It's raining now. Oh, it's kind of spitting. Let me just show you what I haven't done in the garden. So I have actually planted some bulbs. I put some bulbs in here. And I've put some bulbs in there, and I've got all different spring bulbs in there. Some of them I don't know, Muscari, Narcissus, the daffodils. And what else have I got? I don't even know the name of some of them. I'm just going to see. Now, what I did, we have time to go to the garden centre, and I was in Sainsbury's with my mum doing something, and I realised I've got to get the bulbs in, so I had to make a call. And they had this pack of 100 bulbs for £10, I think it was, different spring bulbs, and I just picked them up and I've just popped them in. Sometimes you make a call when you're busy, think they're there, I want them in, I want the colour in spring, and pop them in, and that's what I've done. I've also, they go down between 8 and 15 centimetres depending on the bulb. This is actually coriander growing, but I still planted the bulbs underneath, inside it, because by the time the coriander's finished, the bulbs anyway are coming up for spring. These are where tomatoes were growing, or onion. No, the onions were in here that were taken. So I just put a little bit of fish blood and bone in there, and some rotted chicken manure, and I'm going to plant bulbs in there as well. I've got more to do. Grass, there's weeds everywhere. I don't know what this is, and I've got to deal with it, and I still haven't. It's just time. I've started putting these kind of things up for the birds. It's not, it's a bit early, but when it gets really cold, the birds come and feed on this suet. And I used to make my own, but these I just bought for now. There's so much I can do. More bulbs are planted in these empty pots here. Tomatoes were in them before. And over there in that patch, you can see there's 2 green lines, and that's fenugreek, which I've planted in between the spinach seeds, which I hope come up, because you've also got where the hens were, the grain that they were eating is now starting to sprout, and I keep picking it out, but I don't want to disturb the spinach seeds. So let's see what happens. They may or may not work. In the greenhouse, I'm going to start popping things in here. I've taken out some of the tomato plants, as you can see, and I've also planted mustard greens, sown mustard greens in here, and they're going to grow over the winter in the greenhouse, so some protection from the frost, and then I'll see whether I plant them out in the spring. I don't know what's going to happen. I've not done it before. These are still supplying me with these beautiful green zebra tomatoes. Another one for your book. Green zebra tomatoes, heritage heirloom. Look them up. They're the ones that turn yellow and they're green inside, and they are the most delicious tomatoes I have ever eaten. Maybe in France I had better, but these are homegrown. You can't beat it. All the time, the greenhouse just smells of thyme. I put into the greenhouse to protect it, and more stuff is going to be coming in here as time goes on. Time goes on. My little joke. Not funny, I know, but there's a lot to do. I have to deal with the grass here. Now we are past a full moon. We're a waning moon. It's not a good time to sow seeds, but I'm going to have to make a call. It doesn't matter. It's not the best time, but I will do it on the right lunar day for that particular, whether it's a fruit whether it's a root, whether it's a flower, whether it's a leaf. Do your research on biodynamic gardening. If you're interested in everything I've just said will make sense to you. It's just been busy. I've left these here. Stunning. I know I keep probably bored, but I can never get bored of the garden. It's lush and green and beautiful. Now, what else have you been doing? Well, I've spent a lot of time, I just share, in cycling. So last week I wrote everything down and I managed to get a lot done from my list. I had 29, 30 things written down and I got half of them done. 15 or 16 are done. And that's kind of what works for me. I aim to get the most important things done, and then I have a day. Some days don't go quite as planned when family come over or someone comes over. The last 2 days that has happened. So I haven't done very much at all because that's important. Being social, especially with family and friends, is a priority. It's what bonds us. Make that a priority. Being a slave and doing things you need to do, unless you've left them and procrastinated, they can wait. It's all about balance and following your source connection. If that source is coming from connected to source, to the mind behind the universe, rather than some kind of interdimensional force that comes in through the media, which it is what it is. It is an interdimensional force. And you think it's you, and it isn't you at all. So that happens to me all the time. I don't watch media, but some things come in and I just watch them coming in, think, no, I'm not going to entertain them. I can see it there, but I'm not entertaining that thought because that's not coming from my source. And then it just kind of transmutes and melts away. And I've learned to be very aware of the fact that thoughts are not my own. And so therefore you're actually distinguishing between a thought coming from source, your own source connection, in purity, or what's happening to most people, 99%, is the thought coming in from somewhere which is external to them. So not linked, not connected to them, which is normally media, newspapers, conditioning, that kind of thing. It's a really good exercise if you do that. Like, where did that come from? No, that didn't come from me. Okay, it's there. I'm not going to pretend it's not there, but I'm not entertaining it, and you transmute it. Just one of the people that you can go and look at is Dr. Jacqueline Hobbs, the Oracle Girl. I've mentioned her before. She talks a lot about this, and I've learned a lot from her, as well as my own other research, and then myself, because we see the results. We see what happens when you live in a certain way, and it's magical. And I've talked about this. It's an absolute truth. It's an axiom. You don't need to externalize anything. Everything is internal. That doesn't mean you don't research or gain knowledge, but the actual choices are made from an internal connection. All right. Okay. So that's it for today. Have a lovely weekend. Sunday is going to be my rest day, even though I've had 2 kind of nice rest days with friends and family, cycling out. The weather is amazing. It's not too hot. Autumn is coming, but it's still warm, and you've got to enjoy it and create some memories and get growing. Get out in the garden and prepare your soil and put things in. Go to the Real Seeds company, which is this one here. Here, Real Seeds. Right, they're based in Wales. They've got good seeds. And I have used Pennards here, but for some of them, they just didn't work, and they're quite expensive. But I've migrated to Real Seeds now. Just feel better about Real Seeds. All right. Oh, I wanted to show you this. On the way back from Scotland, I stopped at I had researched beforehand for raw milk, and I bought loads of raw milk, picked it up, and I also bought some kefir. Now, this was actually delivered to me because I love their raw milk so much. I got some kefir delivered just to taste it. It is absolutely delicious. And what I recommend you do, it's not because I'm saying it,
go to Hill Farm Real Foods online and check out their simple website, the story behind who they are. Connect with your source. Does it make sense? Have you done other research? And if you're interested in ensuring you put nourishment into your body, this is a very good source of real raw milk. You may remember I said in a previous video that I was unsure about a raw milk source I was using. It didn't taste right, and I learned a lot about raw milk from this farm, from one of the young lads at this farm, and he told me why it didn't taste good, to do with the iodine that they were using. And they don't use that here. So I'm going to talk about the production of raw milk directly as I was advised by a young 21-year-old lad who actually is involved every day in milking the cows, and he understands the process of creating raw milk. Amazing. Boy of the land. I'll talk about that another time. So now I've got that knowledge too, straight from source. A different source, the farm source. But the idea of going to that farm came to me just a day before, and it just whizzed up on the net, just like that. It's in Cheshire. When things happen like that, you know they're coming from the right source. Have a lovely day, otherwise I'll go on forever. Okay, take care, bye.